All right, everybody, welcome to StackGenius, the podcast for data-driven investment professionals. My name is SIlvan, and I'm greeting you wherever you are in the world right now. And I'm also warmly greeting Charles Halford, who is joining us from Paris today, or where are you at?
That is correct. I'm in Paris. Lovely to meet you, Sylvan, and greetings to Germany.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Well, I mean, Paris has a great bar culture at night. You know, if I would try to have a beer conversation with somebody about edda, I might say, there's a little bit of CRM and portfolio management, but also Trello and fashion brand style in there. It really looks good. So how would you describe edda?
I would say, Sylvan, you shouldn't be drinking beer before fear. Is that what you say?
Yeah, that's what they say in Germany.
But no, I mean, I think you've got a pretty good UX and UI description. I would probably precisely describe it as an all-in-one investment management tool for investment professionals, specifically focusing on the VC or early stage investment area.
And when you say all in one, that can mean anything and nothing. Can you make that more specific or show us some stuff?
Yeah, definitely. So happy to move on to showing you some stuff very shortly. So basically, our mission is to do everything that an investor needs to be successful. So when you think about an investment management tool to invest in the private space, you might think of something like a CRM. And the problem with the CRM is that a CRM synchronizes all of your emails. It helps you kind of log notes effectively and log all of this information. But it isn't tailored to help you screen thousands of deals. Because investors, at the end of the day, what they want to do is they want to find the next Shopify. They want to find the next Tesla or SpaceX or big game-changing company. And we want to help them do that in the most effective way by synchronizing with the tools that they use and setting up the platform by default in a way that is streamlined to help them screen all of these deals as well as manage the investment.
So this would be like data providers like Crunchbase or PitchBook or whatever you are talking. Okay, good.
Correct. And Dealroom as well, for example. Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's helpful. And then, I mean, maybe it becomes more clear when we see it, but, this is the part of the sourcing, but I understand that there's also a lot of portfolio management pieces in there.
Yeah, exactly. So this is where we differentiate against a typical kind of deal flow tool is we do all of that deal flow stuff. So we do synchronize your emails, help you manage tasks and log your notes, show you conversion rates. But once you've made the investment, a lot of people are currently left in the lurch with having to find a new tool, work with Excel spreadsheets and so forth. And what we do is we help you have a tool that also allows you to track things like your cap table, your financial stats, and manage the metrics from the companies that you've invested in, depending on what they specifically have as strategic goals as well.
Cool. Let's have a look.
Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to let you share your screen. Is that correct? Perfect.
Yes, please.
So there's three ways that a lot of the time investment companies can get deals. They can get them from their network. They can hunt them themselves by screening on Crunchbase or PitchBook or Googling for companies, or they can often have a web form submission to have all of this information come in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you basically the story of how an investment can begin as an email inbound, come all the way into your deal flow, so you can review this potentially by a team of analysts and a committee review, and then you can handle this investment in your portfolio, tracking all of those financial metrics that you want to do. Let's kick off with the email. So, Sylvan, you very kindly sent me an email, which might be the typical email, or this, obviously the content of this email is different, but you might have an email that would be a pitch deck from a company that's been forwarded to a partner or an analyst or so forth. Normally what you have to do is you have to go in Excel, download all of this information, save it in in spreadsheets, and then review all of this data in a very manual process. With Edda, what we've basically done is we've designed a way for you to, with a click of a button, log this call in a nice organized pipeline.
So this is
So
like a plugin that works online or also in Outlook desktop?
So we integrate with Outlook as well. What we'd recommend is that you use Google Chrome to be able to transfer most of your content into the platform. And most of our clients tend to use Google Chrome anyway. It tends to integrate with a lot of tools quite effectively.
Okay, thanks.
For the example of this, I also want to show you how we can easily pull data out of Dealroom, Crunchbase, or PitchBook.
Sure.
So I'm going to very quickly just put in Shopify. As you can see, we can attach this as a new company or create this existing company. It will pull out the information from Dealroom, Crunchbase, or PitchBook, as is logged in the original sourcing tool itself, give you a few tasks, which you can manage from this Chrome extension, by the way, and that should straight away show up in the Dealflow section under the new column.
Okay. That's the Trello piece I was speaking about.
Trello. If you mention that word once again, I'm going to... No, but it does. Basically, our entire platform is centered around the idea of making the UX and UI as smooth as possible. If you were to compare us with branding, we'd definitely go more for this Apple kind of branding where things look very neat, they're easy to use, and it just kind of makes sense the way you click it. So, by the way, all of this is very customizable, so you can completely change the columns as you need because a lot of investors have different stages. This is just a setup that I've made. And when you get this company that lands in your new area, what you'll see is it scraps all of the information from Crunchbase. I think the Dealroom integration scraps even more. And you'll be able to see who the partners are, the founding, the total raise to date. Obviously, Shopify being a public company nowadays will probably not be something that you'll be reviewing as a venture capital, but I just wanted to demonstrate that we can gather this information at the click of a button.
So you don't have to have a subscription with these data providers in order to have the data appear here?
So with Crunchbase, you don't need to have a subscription. With Dealroom, we've got two options, and we actually partner very strongly with Dealroom, so I'm happy to discuss with you that. Or we've got an alternative that is a slightly more limited but still effective free integration with the Dealroom one. And with PitchBook, I think, as with any provider, they have their own specific pricing, so please contact PitchBook regarding how their credits work. However, we integrate with all of them very effectively.
Understood.
Okay. So I'm not going to show you everything around this area because we want to show you the main areas of the platform, but you can track things like all of the emails we'll be seeing. So you'll be able to see and add LPs and partners who are also involved. Why is that cool? That's really useful because if you want to build up relationship with limited partners and show them, hey, I'm looking at companies that you're also looking at, you can add them to this deal flow and you can share, for example, the information you have on these companies to potentially acquire new customers, new investors for you as a fund. Another thing you might want to do is you might want to link partners. Partners can be a lot of different things. They can be industry experts, for example. So let's say you are not too aware of the e-commerce space and you want to learn everything about how e-commerce marketing works. You can add a consultant as a partner, share with them potentially this company for a limited time period, obviously everything being very data secure, so that they can add their comments to your due diligence process, meaning that you're more likely to make an effective decision when you do screen from this 1,000 companies that you're looking at to maybe 10 companies that you're actually seriously considering investing to the final one that you might actually choose to invest in, depending on how your funnel of investment looks like. Is that clear so far for you, SIlvan?
Yeah, that does make sense. And I was just wondering, so the social graph element, so some tools also give you a path to companies. Is that included here, or would that be a separate tool that you would use then for it?
So yes, that is something that is currently actually in the works. So for example, the ability to show who is the most connected to the companies. As we've discussed already, you'll have all of the information for the company founders tagged in an area, and you can definitely add partners in the space as well. You'll be able to see who the other lead investors in a company are, so where you can definitely start building up your network in that stage. I hope that helps there.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. And I mean, if I imagine, so the typical customer that you have, what
Yeah.
stage do they invest in? Is this later stage or early stage folks who use your tool?
So we do have a mix, actually. We do have some late stage investors. Principally, what we focus on is the venture capital space, although we've got a variety of different investment companies that are interested in working with us. We can help with acceleration because we can help you, for example, network your LPs and partners, automate tasks and things like that. So everyone is on the same page with company communication. We can help give you a list of contacts to send emails to, plan events and so forth here. So we can help a variety of use cases, but principally companies that specialize in gathering information from Dealroom, Crunchbase, PitchBook, analyzing and scrutinizing that data, adding tasks, reviewing these companies, and then making a decision as to how they wish to invest in these. It can be anything from even pre-seed to obviously your almost IPO stage investment.
I would imagine that those super early folks, they would want to have additional signals, which they might gather from somewhere else, like Landscape or other tools, Mosaic or whatever you have out there, right? So, but anyway, sorry, Harmonic, I got that wrong. Anyway, I think it looks really cool. I love it. So, what else is special about what you guys do?
So, I guess there's a lot of few things, but I don't want to bombard you too much with functionalities on this call. One thing that's particularly popular in the Dealflow side is our conversion rate tracker. So put the UX aside. The main thing that you want to do as a fund is make sure that you're being as efficient as possible and you're really understanding where are my deals coming from? What's the source type where all of my deals are coming from? Are they coming from my accelerator program, alumni? Are they coming from an inbound web form or so forth? And then you want to be able to filter these criteria to be able to track what the conversion rates are. Because if your web form generates 1,000 companies, but you invest in 0 of them, it might indicate that either the web form that you've got could be optimized, or it might indicate that you should focus more on doing your other, improving your other channels for investment instead. And this really helps partners or analysts or analyst managers, all different kinds of members of the team to track these conversion rates and optimize the entire funnel so that you can impress your LPs, raise your next fund, and really kind of manage your portfolio more effectively. Yeah.
And this is already, when you look at performance throughout the funnel, and then once you look at the performance of the portfolio, you also have something there, I assume.
So yes, so this is the next area. Jumping the gun on me a little bit here. Just going to show one more thing here because there's a lot of different automations. But the core differentiator between Ada and anything else in the market is the fact that we can connect both your deal flow and your portfolio. So you don't have to manually transfer all of that information which you've gathered through hard work at the due diligence stage into your portfolio. So what you can do is you can just drag a company over to the investment stage, such as I've done with Aircool or 3M Innovation Fund, the innovations, and then they will show up in the portfolio area as investments that you can continue with all of the information already synced. And that is a real game changer in this space, which is why Ada will revolutionize this world and is already revolutionizing the investment information management process for venture capital.
Okay, what happens here? So in the, please.
So portfolio management. This is where you want to track something quite different, which is why it's so difficult to have an all-in-one solution, because here we're talking less about kind of scrapping information from PitchBook and Crunchbase and more about tracking the financials, the TVPI, the IRR, your multiples and things like that, which is all kind of stuff that you handle at the principal stage. Even general partners get involved in this kind of area at a greater level. And it's really what you need to do to show your LPs, not just, hey, we've looked at some good companies, but this is our historical performance. This is how well our funds are being managed. You can have different funds. Yeah, sorry, you wanted a question?
I think these things people are used to from portfolio management tools. One of the issues that people typically have is, how do you get the data into the system so that you can actually track them there, right? If it is public companies, easy. But, I assume most of it will be private sector investments. So how does it work? So how do you gather the data?
Yeah, so that is literally where our Dealflow and Portfolio Management connection helps a lot, because you've already done the work at the due diligence stage. A lot of that already is saved in your area, and then you can kind of move it into the investment stage. Now, what I think you're referring to here is the financial kind of information, right? So the cap tables and information such as that, and keeping things up to date. So at the initial investment stage, what will happen is, let's go through AM innovations. We've got a few bits of automated calculations coming in here. I'm just going to click random information here, which probably won't add up to the reality. But let's say you make an investment in USD dollars, we can convert to different currencies for your primary, and let's say it's a Series A investment. What you can do is you add all of this information here with how much your initial investment is going to be, and at the end of the day, you have to put that in somewhere. And it will start automatically calculating. Let me get my French keyboard fixed. Some of the information of the amounts that you've invested. So if I put in some dummy data here, let's say they've only invested 2,000 shares in this round, and there's outstanding shares, I don't know, 500, then it will automatically calculate a lot of the valuation and the funding amount that you've got in the platform there. Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at the clock a little bit. We're getting to the end of our allotted time. So, obviously, I understand you need to put in the data to have it there. Tracking the performance of the individual companies would happen separately somewhere then, right?
Yeah. So just checking the time. How long have we got, SIlvan, for the
we have another minute.
Okay, so portfolio performance, very quickly. You can very easily see your multiples, the amount of investments that you've made, with a load of other filters that are very useful for you. Talking about portfolio valuation, this is important very much for compliance. You'll usually update this on a quarterly basis. You'll be able to see all of your companies, your unrealized IRR, your realized IRR, all of these financials that are important for you to do, and they'll be updated at this stage as you're managing your portfolio area. One thing that really differentiates us a lot from other companies is the fact that we can more easily automatically update metrics. Great to have financials, but what about all of those other metrics that aren't on the finance sheets, such as CO2 reduction, the amount of medical devices created in this example for this company? These are things that we can automatically update by periodically sending reminders to company founders with easy access to fill them in.
Do they have like access to the GUI, or do they send an Excel, or how does it work?
So at this stage, what will happen is they'll have a link to fill in, and they just log into the platform just like this, and then they click update. Obviously, restricted access depending on the companies that they have access to, and then they'll just add the data here.
Okay, so you would need to get them to adopt that basically, which if you are a majority shareholder should not be a problem. So it's your job to get them to do it essentially, right?
Either or. So either you send a reminder to yourself internally in the team to make sure you chase them down and input it, which also saves a lot of time, or you get them to update it. Correct. Perfect.
Awesome.
Final thing I'll go for. Okay. Final thing I'll go for is you can also track the performances of the fund overview, to generate LP reports, to give reports to your LPs, easily to export to either Excel or a PDF format. You can have a summary of your portfolio and all of your company performances with these metrics, as well as the IRR, the TVPI, and all of the proceeds, the financial information that you need. And so we can track pretty much all of your financial numbers that you need to be reporting back, cap tables and so forth, and combine that with the fact that you've got a deal flow. Apologies for overrunning. Let me give you the floor back. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Charles. No, that was very enjoyable. And actually, kudos to you guys. I really think it looks both comprehensive and it looks beautiful, which I think is also an element for user adoption. I definitely think, I mean, I haven't played with it or worked with it myself yet, right? I'm looking forward to that. I definitely feel just from looking at it, it's one of the top 5 most comprehensive solutions I've seen so far. So I like that you start to weave things together. I think it's an important trend. And also the bits and pieces that you still need to do that are outside, they need to be interoperable. So those things I think will become more and more important as we go along. But I think you're on a great journey. So looks awesome. So the only thing left for me is to say thank you and schedule a time for a beer in Paris. And then we just take it from there. Thank you for your time, Charles.
Thank you very much, SIlvan. It was a pleasure.
All right, you too.